Alright, welcome back. This is the problem with Bethesda and why Starfield will be great eventually. So today I'm talking about Bethesda and more specifically Starfield. The main concerns people have with Starfield is loading screens, the fact that you can't walk around the whole planet, there may be invisible walls, you may not be able to see actual landmarks that maybe should be in the distance, you can't take off the ground and fly to space, you may not have a solid means of travel like a car or something once you're on the actual planet, and also you can't go underwater. But here's the thing though, the loading screen things does suck. With there being potentially 5 just to get from one planet to another. This could be updated or modded out potentially in the future. The invisible walls thing is frustrating as well, but again, that could potentially be fixed. I know that in Skyrim they had those invisible walls on mountain peaks and ridges and out far in the ocean, so you didn't really notice them as much. Speaking of the ocean, you may not be able to go underwater, which also kind of sucks. I'd love to see a DLC, for example, where there's like a whole ocean planet, kind of akin to something like Subnautica, where you can explore in underwater world. That'd be awesome. As far as walking around the whole planet, I just don't think that's a great idea. I think the main controversy behind that was that they said that you could explore a lot, and they said that that will be part of the game, where you could potentially wander for as long as you want. But I mean, at least personally, I don't really have the time to walk around a video game for 10 hours in circles just to find nothing, essentially. That just seems like it would be pretty boring. I'd rather have areas made with intent to be tailored for enjoyment and for entertainment. If you play No Man's Sky or Star Citizen, you may know what I'm talking about with the endless amount of time you can spend wandering around through space, but after a while it does get a little bit old. One of the other things were the large landmarks that you may not be able to see when you feel like you should be able to see them. For example, if there's a city close by in the distance, like on the map, you expect you should be able to see skyscrapers and such, but you don't actually see anything until you get to that area. Then all that shit pops up. Again, that is a bit frustrating. Hopefully that does get updated or patched out or potentially even modded out if they decide not to do something like that. You can't take off from the planet and fly around as of right now, which does kind of suck. I feel like that would be immersive. That would be just a cool little addition. But again, there is updates that could come out. There is mods that could come out for this game where that could enable you to actually do these things. And lastly, you may not have a solid means of travel. So for example, you don't have a car or a buggy or a little rover they can drive around on the surface of a planet, so it might take you a while to get around. But I don't see that as being a huge issue. But it's just something people have been complaining about. Overall, I think the game won't be necessarily amazing, but I do think it will be fun. I think a lot of features will be added through updates, DLCs, added content, potentially mods, I'm hoping. I think the modding community does, if they do what they do with like Skyrim and Fallout, with this, then I see a huge potential. For example, Skyrim Anniversary Edition, one of my favorite re-releases or added content things to a game that I can think of. And so in 5 to 10 years, this game has the potential to be one of the best games, if not space games, that we get in a very long time. However, that being said, here comes the problems with Bethesda in general as a whole. I think they often release games that just aren't ready. Either they're buggy, or they don't have a ton of content to keep you entertained, or they could be polished, or they could just be better in general, and they have to add stuff later on to intrigue you to download, play, etc. Now, I have heard from a lot of early game reviews that the buggy issue hasn't really been that much of a problem from this game, which is great to hear from a Bethesda game. But I think the idea of a game is you want something that you're gonna enjoy on release. You want something that's gonna capture your attention when it releases, not down the road when you get a new DLC or you get updates or you get mods. That shouldn't be the case. You shouldn't have to rely on mods, on the community, on other people to make your game better. You shouldn't have to rely on crazy updates and crazy and DLCs to make your game that much better so people will actually play it. I get it. DLCs are supposed to make the game better. I get it. Having that ability to mod the game makes it so much better. That's why people still play Skyrim to this day, and it's a very loved game. But at the same time, you can't rely on that. You have to release something that's going to hold its own on release. But I do definitely see a path where they do have mods and they do have DLCs that really transforms this game into something special. that could be played for another 11, 12 years down the road, just like something like Skyrim or like a Fallout game, you know, has a very big community even today. Anyways, I'll be playing the game myself on my channel coming up recently. Keep an eye out for that. I appreciate you guys watching this video and seeing what I have to say. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Please hit that subscribe button. Goodbye.